Okay, where is this phone of mine? Welcome back to another video. I don't think I've ever said that in any of my intros. Anyway, so today we're looking at Outward Bound. You don't have to understand what Outward Bound is. You'll understand it as we go through the video. Let's go. Me and Dad arrived on the South Island in the morning. We took a shuttle from the airport to Picton, which is the area where everything started. There we met the rest of our group. So it was 10 other members, 5 kids, 5 adults, each kid with their parent, and then me and my dad. Normally these groups, which are called watches by the way, have 14 members, but 2 of our ones couldn't make it. So it was us, 12, and then our 2 instructors. Then we got introduced to the cutter. A cutter is a type of sailing boat used back in the 1700s when people like Captain Cook first found New Zealand. Actually, the Maori found New Zealand first, but Captain Cook just kind of stole it. We rode in the cutter for almost a whole day. We learned how to sail a little bit, but not really. In the evening, we got to a small bay and then had to swim to the shore instead of walk because, like, Outward Bound. Us kids were the ones to make dinner. The adults set up a shelter on the boat, and then we could do some cool stuff, like swim underneath the boats. That was pretty fun. Like the 2 boats, because there's 2. Because there was the cutter, and there was the boat that would drive with us. It was a motorboat. Day 2. So, day 2 was pretty boring, actually. We got up in the morning at 6:20. That was early. And we got into PT. PT is physical training. We went for a warm-up first, which was like jumping jacks and that kind of stuff. Then we went for a run. It's a shuttle run, but I don't want to explain what a shuttle run is, so I'm just going to show you guys here. Pause the video if you want. Yeah. Afterwards, we learnt what an anakiwa set was. That's 10 push-ups, 10 Russian twists, and 10 squats. Personally, not too difficult for me, but I know it was more difficult for other people. And when you do a lot of them, it does add up. Then we had to swim back to the boat, of course, because like swimming is not fun because it was the cold water. Then we got dressed and everything and paddled again. Paddled and sailed until we got to Anakiwa, which is the whole like Outward Bound area. There's cabins there where you sleep with your watches. Just a big room with 14 beds and bathrooms and a big eating hall to eat. And it's where us, so our watch, and all the other watches, groups, but watches, met. We had a bit of a ceremony just to welcome everyone. And then we got all set up, put all our stuff in the cabin, and then we had dinner. And that was basically day 2. Yeah, so we got settled in, and not much else happened on day 2. Not really. So we went to bed. The only thing we knew about day 3 was that we had to get up at 6:20 in the morning again. But that was it. Day 3. In the morning, again, PT, physical training. I just bumped my table. We had another warm-up, and then we did a 3-kilometer run, but this time everyone went at their own pace, so it was much more exhausting. Then we had breakfast. After that, we played this game where you're blindfolded and have to throw stuff at other people, like little toys, like soft toys. And then we did something where you talk about values and things that are important to you in life. This is another big aspect of Outward Bound. You don't just do all these physical activities and like push yourself to your mental and physical limits. You also talk about how you can better your life in the future and values, for instance. Then we met Bob. Now Bob is this orange dummy thing that we had to transport with a time limit. If we exceeded the time limit, we had to start again. Had to transport Bob up from where Bob was in the area, all the way around the jetty, swim around the jetty, then back. But we made it in time. Then we got into our next activity. This was high ropes, and high ropes was fun. Now, like I said before, this whole YouTube channel just about climbing trees, so high ropes, that was fun. And when I climb my trees, I'm not really like harnessed up or anything, but in the high ropes you did have a harness. So One of the coaches and my dad gave me a bunch of challenges, like I had to go with eyes closed and all that, but I did them all. And then we had dinner. That was high ropes, and that was day 3. I'm gonna show a few more clips because I thought the high ropes was pretty cool. Yeah. So I'm just quite high up. Today, PT wasn't running. We did things like push-ups, squats. It was strength and resistance today. Then we had breakfast and got into the day's activities. So the main activity was the waka, which is a traditional Maori boat. I'll show you what a waka is like here, because I'm too lazy to explain it. But this is what our one looked like. So we paddled basically the whole day. We got to a small bay at some point, and that's where we rested. And first we did a sandcastle competition, but I don't have footage of that. As a matter of fact, I don't have footage of a lot of stuff. And then we started a thing called a life run, where it's also talking about like how you can better your life and improve your life and all that. We paddled back because it was getting late. We finished the life run when we got back to Outward Bound, to Anakiwa area, and then we got introduced to what was happening next. So next, we were going on a 2-night solo, just like that. They showed us a bunch of things, like how you can set up tents with this tarp. Then we packed our bags, had dinner, and went. So we got there in a bus, then we walked for about half an hour, and we got into a forest. In the forest, there were different camps. Here was where you slept the night. We spent the first night alone. I built like a cool little shelter. That was pretty cool. So I don't know if you can see me. I'm just gonna get a light if I can find one. Just heard something in there. Where's my light? And that was day 4. So on day 5, I first of all didn't have much to do. They did give us some like tasks for the day later on, and also on day 5 I could meet up with Dad, but only later in the day. In the morning I had nothing to do, so I started my 1,000 push-ups challenge. I made actually a little short of that, but that was pretty cool. So I did 1,000 push-ups on this day, although it did take the whole day. And then we met up with Dad. Well, I met up with Dad, and Dad met up with me. That's why I said we. Then we built our shelter for the night. We used both our tops, combining them to make a nice little tent. It was very comfy, and we spent the next night together in the tent. Day 6. In the morning, we started packing up. Our instructor came around 10 and took us back with them. The rest of day 6 was just cleaning our cabin. Then we got introduced to what we were going to do on day 7. We were going on a long hike. That's my neighbor. Day 7. So in the morning we got ready for our hike. Then we got into the buses and they drove us to the area where our hike started. It was up a hill, so the first 3 kilometers were uphill and the last 5-ish kilometers were downhill. There was some cool like views and stuff. We also got to some old mines, and in the end we got to an area where a village used to be, so that was pretty cool. There was nothing left of the village except for a few metal parts and a sign. Then we got picked up by the bus, by the Outward Bound bus. So for the rest of day 7, we didn't really do much. We packed up everything because, you know, it was the last day. In the morning of day 8, we left for Picton. We left Outward Bound and Anakiwa behind, and in the waka we paddled all the way to Picton, which was where we would get picked up by a shuttle. Or I don't know how the other people got home, but me and Dad got picked up by a shuttle to the airport. I don't have footage of most of the stuff that happened on this day because of, you know, my GoPro, and I couldn't take it near water because we were going, well, not swimming, but paddling. Then our shuttle came. Me and Dad got brought back to the airport by a shuttle. We flew from the South Island all the way back to the North Island, because that's how New Zealand works. I don't know if you probably know how New Zealand works. You're knowledgeable human beings. And we were home. I felt a bit sad that night because I hadn't really... This is so stupid, but I've just been like so happy to get home and so excited to get back home and have my phone again and all that. Not really for my phone, I wasn't that excited for my phone, honestly, but just to be home again. And when I got home, I was like, I kind of miss it. Getting up in the morning early. The nice thing about Outward Bound was that you always had something to do. They told you exactly what you needed to do. When I got home, I realized now I might be bored. Because one thing Outward Bound, you never get bored. Subscribe!